There are a few Bible verses that feel like old, comfortable chairs, verses we sink into for comfort, their meaning as familiar as the shape of our own hands. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. It's one of the most beloved promises in all of Scripture. And for most of us, the image is clear. Waiting on God is a quiet, patient, passive thing, a spiritual waiting room. And if we do it long enough, God gives us a supernatural energy boost, a divine shot of adrenaline. We get our strength back. But what if that picture is almost entirely wrong? What if the original language paints a picture not of passive waiting, but of incredible tension? And what if renewing your strength has less to do with getting a refill and more to do with a radical exchange? To understand this promise, you have to stand where it was first spoken, not in a peaceful sanctuary, but in the ruins of a civilization. The prophet Isaiah is speaking to a people who are not just tired, they are spiritually and nationally obliterated. The year is sometime in the 6th century BC. Jerusalem, the city of God, is a field of rubble and ash. The grand temple built by Solomon, the place where heaven and earth were said to meet, has been torn down stone by stone. The nation's leaders, artisans, and best minds have been forcibly marched hundreds of miles into exile in Babylon, the world's superpower. They are refugees. They are prisoners of war. For decades they have lived in a foreign land, under foreign gods, speaking a foreign language. Their own God feels distant, silent. They pray and hear only the echo of their own voice. They look at their situation and draw the only logical conclusion. As Isaiah records their cry, "My way is hidden from the Lord. My cause is disregarded by my God." This is not the complaint of someone having a bad week. This is the settled despair of a people who believe God has forgotten them, that their history, their covenant, their very existence has been erased from the divine memory. They are beyond weary. Their strength is not low, it is gone. This is the audience for the promise, a people at the absolute end of their rope. It's into this profound darkness, this bone-deep exhaustion, that Isaiah speaks. And he begins not with a word of comfort, but with a declaration of cosmic power. He asks, "Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, or with the breadth of his hand marked off the heavens?" He paints a picture of a God who holds oceans in his palm, who weighs mountains on a scale. To this God, the powerful nations of the earth, including their captor Babylon, are like a drop in a bucket, like dust on the scales. And it's here, after re-establishing God's infinite scale, that he makes the promise. But to hear it as they heard it, we have to look past the English translation. The English word hope or wait in this passage can feel gentle, almost passive, like waiting for a bus. But the Hebrew word is far more active and far more strenuous. The word is kava. Kava does not mean to sit quietly and wish. The root of the word means to bind, to twist, to collect. The literal physical image behind kava is the twisting of threads to make a rope. A single strand of flax is fragile. You can snap it with your fingers. But if you take that strand and twist it together with another, and another, and another, you create something new. You create a cord, a rope, something that can bear weight, something that can pull a load, something that can hold fast in a storm. The process of making the rope, the twisting, the binding, the tension, that is kava. So when Isaiah says, "those who kava on the Lord," he is not talking about people who are passively waiting for God to do something.
He's describing people who are actively binding their lives to God, twisting their frayed hopes into the strength of His character. It is an act of tension. It is the posture of an archer pulling back the bowstring, gathering energy before the release. It is holding on, wrapping your own depleted life around the steadfastness of God, believing He is your strength when you have none. This waiting is not empty, it is a creative act. From this place of active, tension-filled waiting, Isaiah's promise unfolds. First, he addresses the core complaint. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary. The contrast is intentional. You are weary, He is not. You are finite, He is everlasting. Then comes the pivot. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Notice, He doesn't give strength to the strong, He gives it to those who have none left. He proves this by stating a fact everyone knew. Even the picture of youthful vitality, the young men, even they stumble and fall. Everyone's strength runs out eventually. Your own power will always fail you. But those who kava, those who bind themselves to the Lord like a rope, they will renew their strength. And here we find a second word that unlocks the passage. The Hebrew for renew is halaf. It doesn't just mean to restore or replenish, like filling a gas tank. The more fundamental meaning of halaf is to exchange. You see this word when seasons change, one exchanging places with the other. You see it when a guard's shift ends and he is relieved by a new guard. It's a transaction. To halaf your strength is to exchange what you have for what he has. You give him your exhaustion. He gives you his inexhaustible energy. You trade your weakness for his strength. It's a divine swap. And this is where the eagle imagery becomes so powerful. They will soar on wings like eagles. We read that and think of majestic power, of flapping high above the world. But an experienced eagle doesn't get higher by flapping harder. That just burns energy. An eagle soars by finding something it cannot see, a thermal updraft, a rising column of hot air. The eagle spreads its wings, holds them steady, and lets the current do the work. It exchanges its own effort for the power of the wind. This is the picture of halaf. This is renewing your strength. It is not trying harder, but a wise and patient surrender. It is the kava, the tense waiting of holding your wings steady in the gale, trusting that the unseen current of God's grace will come and lift you. For a time, you might even lose altitude, but then the current catches and you are carried higher than you could ever climb on your own. This isn't just a beautiful idea, it's a principle woven through the entire Bible. We're dedicated to uncovering these powerful, life-changing threads. If this way of seeing Scripture resonates with you, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next.
This idea of exchanging our weakness for God's strength is not unique to Isaiah. It's one of the central paradoxes of the biblical story. The Apostle Paul, centuries later, would frame it in the starkest possible terms. After pleading with God to remove a thorn in his flesh, a source of profound suffering, he receives an answer that sounds just like Isaiah's promise. God tells him, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. God's power is not just displayed in spite of our weakness, It is perfected in it. It finds its ideal arena in the places where we are at the end of ourselves. Paul's response is to fully embrace the exchange. He says, "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." He is learning to soar on the thermal. He is exchanging his weakness for Christ's koach, the Hebrew word for real, dynamic strength. This is the same strength Isaiah promised. King David understood it too. In the depths of his own fear and uncertainty, he writes, "Wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord." He uses that same word, kava. Bind yourself to God. Twist your fears into the rope of his faithfulness. That is where strength is found. So what does this mean for you, right now? You are probably living in a space of exhaustion. Maybe it's the exhaustion of a long illness, or the slow drain of a difficult job. Maybe it's the weariness that comes from caring for a family, or the deep fatigue of grief that makes every morning feel like a monumental effort. You feel like the exiles in Babylon. Your strength is not just low, it feels gone. Your prayers feel like they're hitting a brass ceiling. And the temptation in our culture is always to flap harder, to try a new technique, to read another self-help book, to hustle more, to grind it out. We believe strength is something we produce. We believe if we just try harder, we can fix the exhaustion. But Isaiah's promise is a radical, counterintuitive invitation. The invitation is to stop flapping. The call is to kava, to actively, intentionally bind your depleted life to the character of God, to wrap the frayed threads of your hope, your fear, your exhaustion around the one thing that is solid and unchanging. It's to admit, I am done. I have nothing left. This is not a confession of failure. In the economy of God, it is the prerequisite for real strength. It is the moment you position yourself to be moved by a power that is not your own. This is the exchange. You're running on empty for His fullness. Your weariness for His rest. Your faintness for His stride. This doesn't mean your problems will magically disappear. The eagle doesn't eliminate the wind, it uses it. The promise is not that the valley of the shadow of death will vanish. The promise is that you will be able to walk and not be faint as He walks through it with you. The strength you receive is not primarily for your own comfort, but for endurance. It is the power to keep going, to keep loving, to keep showing up long after your own resources have run dry. The next time you feel that deep weariness settle in, picture the eagle. It doesn't struggle. It extends its wings, waits, and trusts the unseen current. That is the invitation for you today. If this exploration of hope and strength has given you a new way to see your own struggles, please share this with someone who might need to hear it. Let us know in the comments about a time when you experienced this exchange, when your weakness met God's strength. Be sure to subscribe for more journeys into the deep, transformative truths of the Bible. May you find the courage to stop flapping and the grace to be carried.